Welcome back, everybody, to Real Chill Conversations. So we're here today with Brenna
Hi
and,
guys.
uh, and myself. And yes, so today I'm going to be really short and sweet on this podcast because I just wanted to talk about how important romance is and how much effort should we put into it. I want to get your opinion on it.
It's a good topic. I was thinking about it ever since you posted it. And I think that romance is really important. But when people hear the word romance, I think a lot of times they think of these, big extravagant moves like boarding a flight and going to dinner, out of state and then staying in a hotel room and, then going out to the city and doing whatever you want to do. But romance can be small things, and it is the little things that count, whether or not you get flowers or you get a card or your bae decides to spring for you guys getting couples massages or pedicures together or something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to always be dinner and flowers. I mean, I love me some flowers, but guys, flowers die after like a week. And then you have nothing left except the dried up flower petals and
So
some.
you don't really think flowers, well you don't really like flowers is what you're saying.
No, I love flowers,
Oh,
but my problem is that they only last for about 7 days. So, it's not a long lasting gift, but I definitely think that it's romantic. And especially when you're getting them for no reason. If it's not Mother's Day, if it's not your birthday, if it's not Valentine's Day, if it's not any of the other commercial days, if you're getting them just because your babe wants to acknowledge, I'm thinking about you and wanted to get you something to make you feel good. He knows that flowers make me feel good, and flowers always pick me up no matter what. I just love to look at them. I love to see them, in the house, and it just makes me feel better. But I just wish that they would last longer than about a week, so I could continue to hold on to that memories. But yeah, flowers are definitely romantic.
yeah, I feel like flowers are romantic too. I mean, I used to like want flowers. So I think that is romantic.
Yeah.
I find romance in the smallest things, like you just said. You know, some people think it have to be extravaganza and this and that and the other, but I really just find it on the little things. And I was gonna ask you, do you think it should be big? But you just answer the question.
Yeah.
So, do you think romance should be like a goal? Because you see that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yes, I think that romance is something that you need to incorporate into your relationship, just like you incorporate everything else into your relationship. Communication, intimacy, having conversations, with each other. I think you have to include romance, into that factor, because that's what's going to keep the spark going. If the romance is not happening, eventually there's going to be some shift in the relationship, and it might end up with you guys growing apart because romance is huge for both parties. It's huge for men and it's huge for women. And just to piggyback on that, in terms of romance, I don't think that it's solely the man's responsibility to be romantic. And some women do feel this way. They feel like it's the man's job, it's part of his role in like courting you and wanting to be with you to set up all things romantic. I think
But
that.
see, that's what I have a problem with because I don't think that it should just be man. And
That,
I
yeah,
don't think that
yeah,
it should just be at the beginning of
yeah,
stages of
right,
dating, talking, whatever it is that you're doing, you
right,
know.
right.
I feel like the the romance should be there long term.
It should be.
So you need to be finding ways in making sure you know what your partner likes, what is their love language, because we spoke about the love languages
Exactly.
on another podcast.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that one, please do.
Yeah, go back and watch it.
Go back and watch it because Berna has some, great things to say on that podcast. Someone said, "What about buying a Stanley Cup?"
I mean,
Facebook user.
if that's speaking your love language and you're managing to successfully accomplish, speaking someone's love language in the form of a Stanley Cup, then go for it. I mean, every relationship
You
is
better
different.
make sure she like a Stanley Cup
Yeah, every relationship is different.
or he.
Yeah, every couple is different, and the needs are different. But just going back to the piece about romance, I don't feel that it's solely the man's responsibility to make sure that the romance, fire is ignited within the relationship. Women, we have our role and our responsibility into contributing romance as well. Whether you make him breakfast in bed in the morning and some cute, lingerie or whatever, light some candles, do a bubble bath together or whatever, something. It's not
But
something.
I have this question.
Yeah.
So what if I like that? I like that picture you're painting. But if what if that other person is not in the mood? How is that? Do you feel like certain situations like that ruins the possibility of a person being even excited to be romantic in a relationship if the other person kind of bloops it all the time?
I think that it can be a deterrent in people wanting to continue the romance avenue if they're constantly being dismissed or kind of turned down, or the other person's like, I'm not feeling it, I'm just not into it. It's going to affect your confidence and your self-esteem, and like, damn, like, does this person even still want to be with me? Like, what's going on? But I say, maybe ask them if there's something on their mind that they want to talk about. Still give them the breakfast in bed, y'all still jump in the tub, if that's all it is, and it doesn't lead to sex. I mean, that's fine. It's still romance and it's still intimacy. But like I was saying earlier, when we had a previous conversation, people are not mind readers. We can't just get in your head and just know what it is that you want. It comes from communication, and
Yeah.
it also comes from observation. So if I have a conversation and I'm like, I really love, going down to the beach at sunset and just kind of walking the water line and just, thinking and relaxing or whatever, whatever. And my bae sets up, like a beach date, and we've got snacks and champagne or whatever, and can sit on the beach and talk. I mean, that's a win for me because that means he was listening and he paid attention to, to what I want. And that is important in terms of maintaining your relationship, and the romance is the paying attention and the listening, observing.
What about emotional romance? I know we talk about gifts all the time and how giving flowers is romantic. What about emotional romance? Like, I feel like this type of romance is the expression of each other's affections.
Right.
How affectionate you are with your person.
I agree with that. I
I think to me, that goes more with me,
Yeah.
because I really do want to feel affection. Um, because it builds connection, and some people don't understand that. Like,
Right.
you can shower me with gifts, a car, a flower, but that connection, like, I feel like when you're being romantic, you have to have that.
Yes. I absolutely agree. That emotional connection is very important and it's
Right.
vital to you even, it's going to go a long way in bonding you with your partner, and it's going to go a long way with you being, in the mood for additional romantic actions versus not in the mood. Because if I feel like you're not on the same page with me emotionally, I'm not going to lie, that is going to kind of hold me back a little bit, and I'm going to have to bring it up in a conversation and say something, because I just don't think that I can go from, foreplay and trying to be romantic to having sex and something's off emotionally with us and in our communication and our relationship.
Yes, I think that would also push me away,
Yeah.
because I have to feel that, you know, I have to feel that affection. And even though sometimes I know we're all of us, we're different, of
Right.
course. We know that. Um, there's some days you're gonna be good, there's some days you may not be good.
Right.
So, and we understand that as women, but you have to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to make the other person feel like you're not into them. And I think there's that's where the communication comes in, and people don't want to talk about it, so they keep it inside of them. And it's like, if you don't talk about it, then you're not letting your person know how you feel, and they may really think that you just lost that connection with them. So at this point you're really like dismissing how they feel about the situation, and now you run into where this may be coming to an end.
Right. I agree with that. And also, I would say that when you're in the situation, and you feel a type of emotional disconnect, it's very, very important that you don't like sit in that and simmer in that and stew in that, because it is, whether you are aware of it or not, it is going to affect your behavior and how you treat the other person. So,
Exactly.
you don't want to let too much time go by or much time go by before you broach that conversation, and nobody wants to feel like they're not getting the affection that they need. Like,
Exactly.
I love hugs, I love kisses, I love playful, smacks on my butt when I'm in the kitchen cooking, you know what I mean, just cute stuff,
Right.
you
Right.
know. I
I love kisses. Yes. Like
I
on
love
it.
holding hands. I love holding hands, and I'm not gonna do a full on makeout session. Most of the time, I'll have respect for other people that are in the same presence of us, but sometimes you just get caught up in a moment, and that kiss just turns into oof, and so I like things like that. So again, I'm not really big on large gifts and things like that. Not to say that I'm not grateful when I get them or appreciative when I get them, but I just want it to be understood that it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You don't have to win my affection over by just going out and doing, big things and purchasing extravagant gifts and expensive perfumes and things like that. Like, you don't have to do that at all 100% with me. I'd rather have us be on the same page and have a very open communication and dialogue, have that affection going back and forth between each other. Because when you do that and you're playful, you're enjoying your partner, and you're going to look forward to deeper intimacy with them and deeper sex with them. But if you don't have that, you're gonna be like, why? Like, why am I even? I'm not even in the mood to do this. And if you do
Well,
do it,
let's just say that there was a study, and the study determined that most people do believe romance is truly important.
oh, good. I'm
So,
glad the research agrees with us.
and it is important. Would you be in love with someone if they lacked romance?
No, No.
Tell me why.
I just don't think that and this is me now. So maybe like years ago when I was in my early stages of being in relationships and things like that, that's something that I would just accept and I would just deal with and think like, okay, that's just the way that he is. But for someone to not be able to meet my needs or have any interest in meeting my needs, I don't know that I could necessarily love them, because the thing that makes me fall for you and the thing that makes me want to be with you is how you treat me, how you treat others, how you treat your mother, how you treat
I'm I'm
children.
glad you said that because to me, romance like now, like you said, like back then, it was probably not even a requirement because it was different. Um, but it shows, how much you value that person. I
Right.
think I think it has a lot to do with that too, because you want to make sure that your partner knows how important they are to you,
Yeah.
whether it's emotionally,
Mhm.
if your love language is giving gifts, you know, some people like that, and that's their way of receiving romance is with gifts, you know.
Yeah, and to each his own. I mean, if that's what makes, your world go round, if that's your requirement for your relationship, I mean, that's certainly on you. When you have every right to set whatever standard for yourself that you would like to set. It's just a matter of finding someone that can match your expectations and meet your expectations. But, I would never tell someone that, oh no, if he's just giving you gifts and all of that, then he doesn't really care about you, because that's
Right.
not true. Because you know in a love language, some people like to give gifts and others like to receive gifts, so that may just be that person's particular love language, so they're
And when it
showing.
comes to love language, make sure you're meeting their love language,
Yes.
not your own.
Right.
'Cause I
Right.
feel like a lot of people do that too.
Yeah.
That's
I,
why you're supposed to find out.
that's
And
exactly.
vice versa. You want to meet his love language.
Right.
Because if you're showing him in a different way, he's not going to be reciprocating that. So
Exactly.
you want to make sure that he does, and just, learn your partner. I think that's the most important thing. If you learn your partner, if you pay attention, um, that's very valuable too. And you're showing them that you really care about them, and what they like interests you, and like I said, it's not short term.
Yeah.
It is not short term. Romance to me should be healthy, fun, exciting. It makes,
Playful.
yes, it playful. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Um, we have so many things going on in our lives, that we forget to be romantic.
Yeah.
And it's always like I catch myself, for example, most of the time complaining about things.
Mhm.
Sometimes I need love
Right.
and affection.
Let me just give you a hug. Let me give you a little kiss to make you feel better.
You're still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, sometimes we do need that. Um, yeah, we forget to be romantic. We have to get closer to each other, not more apart.
Right.
So, and I think when people let go of the romance, they're basically in a household, especially if you live in a household together, you're more like partners.
Yeah, it's very easy, unfortunately, when you're living in the same household, to sometimes let the romance go by the wayside, because you have so many other responsibilities and things that you need to handle and take care of, with whether it's work, whether it's cleaning up around the house and laundry and cooking and doing all these things, for the kids and whatnot. It's almost like it's easy to fall into a pattern of let's put romance at the bottom of the list because we got to get the kids homework done, we got to pick them up from their sports practices, I got to have dinner on the table by x amount of time and all these other things. But I almost feel like when you're in a long distance
Hmm.
relationship, it's almost a little bit easier to maintain the romance because when you guys are together, you're so excited to be with one another. You want to do all the things that you couldn't do during the time in which you were apart. What do you think?
Ask that question one more time.
I was saying that I feel like it's almost like if you're living under the same roof, if you live in the same household with your significant other, I feel like it sometimes is easy for the romance to fall to the wayside because you have so many other responsibilities and household responsibilities and chores and cleaning and cooking and making sure that the kids are good, that you're just so busy doing those other things, and then by the time you do have some time, you're probably tired and you want to lay down and you want to go to sleep, and then there was no real romance. But I was saying that I almost feel like when you're in a long distance relationship, it might be a little bit easier, especially during the first initial months that you're with this person. It might be a little bit easier to express romance because you want to show that person how much they mean to you and how much you've missed them, and you want to really enjoy your time together. So the only thing you have to focus on is one another. So it to me, there's no reason for not having romance when you're in a long distance situation, especially if you see each other, every couple of weeks or once a month or something like that.
It's hard. Um, it's easy, but it's hard.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying about the easy part because you still in that exciting stage where you haven't seen your person for a minute and now you get to see them again. So now it's like it the excitement should still be there versus
right,
living with someone and you're in the household with them, you're with them all the time. And sometimes you find people saying, I need space, I need space,
right.
but this is what you signed up for. But I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, we all need space at times. Do I believe space should be days?
No,
Especially when you have a family, you have business to take care of.
right.
But yeah, I mean, in a way, it is. It would seem easy, but it's hard too because you don't get that. Um, you don't get to be romantic more often. So
Yeah,
therefore, now you know what I'm saying. Especially if you're long distance, it is kind of hard to try to keep up that flame, and you know, it could be exciting as well as to. Oh, I can't wait to see that person again. But
right.
you can also lose it because you're not with that person as often.
Yes, I can see that too.
And it works the same way, if both parties like life is life, y'all. We have stuff going on every day. So whether you're long distance or you're there with your partner in the same household, it's still going to take a toll if you're worrying, if you missed an appointment, um, and now you're mad, we have our ups and downs. That's why take advantage of every opportunity to
Yeah,
be romantic. Does
yes,
it have to be every day? Listen, a flower doesn't have to be every day,
right,
but a little whisper in my ear, baby, I love you.
right.
You look so good today. Look at you.
Mhm.
Like, Just that, you know what I'm saying? Get
Yes.
little butterflies.
Yeah. And
So
those butterflies are everything.
just it could be as small as just a little whisper in your ear.
Yep.
And also take time, like I said, to learn your partner and what they consider romantic, not what you consider. Well, you can let them know what you consider romantic, but
Right.
you want to do stuff that they like
Yes.
because you don't want to do anything that they're not going to like, and then they're going to be looking at you like, I thought we discussed
I
this.
thought that we discussed this. Yeah,
But
it's important definitely to learn your partner and to know, what what they like in terms of romance, not in terms of how they give romance, but well, what's romantic to you? What's a romantic gesture that someone has done for you that made you feel good, that you like? I mean, things like that. And
I like the little whispers.
yeah,
I mean, like I said, like for me, it's the little things,
yeah,
and they go a long way with me
yeah. I agree.
because it turns me on.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna just be honest, like, yeah. So, you know, and
Yeah,
then I love when men go with their heart,
yeah,
like I like to see that. I need to also feel it when I want to feel it.
right. Yeah. I think too, men that are vulnerable enough to lead with their hearts says a lot about them and says a lot about the potential of this person being your long-term or forever person. Because let me tell you, the early days, like I said, when I was first getting into relationships, I didn't have men that I didn't deal with men that were able to show their vulnerable side, that were able to, whisper sweet nothings in my ear and all that kind of stuff and have conversations about, what do you think is romantic? I'd be like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. Like I didn't know it was supposed to
Or
be. I,
whisper in my ear, "Ooh, you look so good today."
yeah,
Mm.
I didn't know it was supposed to be like that. So the occasional girl, you look good. I was like, all right, thanks.
I mean, you need to hear it sometimes, especially when it comes from your man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could think that you're beautiful and pretty, yourself, but you definitely that's romantic to me. It
Yeah, it
be
is.
like a little like,
Yeah.
straight up romantic, but yeah.
Or when you
All
get
right,
your hair
let's get into foreplay now.
done. Okay.
Enough with the romance. Okay. So foreplay help us to rekindle
Yep.
flames, the spark in a long-term relationship.
Yep.
So some people like it, some people don't. I want to ask this question to everybody and make sure you put it in the chat too. And you, Brenna.
Hmm.
Should foreplay be short or long?
Um, I like both actually. I mean, there's times when, you know, short foreplay is fine and I'm already aroused and I'm already in the mood. So, it's fine. It's no issue. But that extended foreplay can just oof, sometimes just take you over to where you wanna go and the heavens open up and start singing right along with you, you know. So I think
You don't think a long foreplay would be like boring?
no, because I don't think most people do long foreplays on a regular basis. I think quicker foreplays are more the normal standard, depending on how often you guys are having sex. So I don't think that the long foreplays are really happening all that much for it to get boring. At least in my situation, it's not. So sometimes, when it switches and we go a little bit longer before we get down to it, I'm like, oh, okay, you want to play around a little bit, okay, and that's
Right.
a turn on for me. Because from his perspective, it's like, he's not in any rush. He wants to take his time. He wants to see every inch of my body and do things to every inch of my body and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm like hot from that. So I don't mind.
And I got some people, I mean, some people were saying that, foreplay is not vital to them. It's like some people really like just getting straight to the point.
I can't. I, okay, let me take that back. I won't say that I can't, because then we're falling into the category of what I would call just a quickie. And to me, when you have a quickie,
No, not really.
really, I always thought when you had a
Yeah, no,
quickie, like,
no, not really. I mean, foreplay is good. It's good, it's okay. But I mean, some people don't really enjoy it.
I don't know why. I mean, but I get, everybody's different, and they have their preferences, and they have, they like what they like.
And
But
then you have some people that do foreplay and go too far with it.
yeah, I mean, I could see that as well. That's not anything that I've experienced. So I can't speak on that from experience, but I could see how, people can go too far with it and just taking a really long time
Oh, when is it gonna be over?
to be over. They pulling out the sex toys and all this other stuff, and it's like, all right, now let's just, okay, let's call it.
Well, what I gotta say about foreplay. Make sure you're communicating about foreplay with your partner, because one person may enjoy it and the other person may not.
Right.
So you'll
All
be doing all that for nothing.
all women are not the same, even though we have, the same lady parts, but we're not all the same in terms of what turns us on, makes us feel good, and adds to the enjoyment of the experience.
And that's when romance come in. If you're
Yeah,
doing that little, if you're not doing that romance, then you probably, yeah, gonna have to do some type of foreplay.
right.
'Cause-
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna be graphic or vulgar, but in most cases and many situations, you'll have a guy that is very into giving the woman oral pleasure as part of
Mhm.
foreplay or as part of their, active sexual intimacy. But I have read and I have researched that there are some women that don't enjoy oral because it's never brought them to the point of climax. And so it's not something that they enjoy.
And some people don't know how to do it.
That's what I was going to say. But you also might be faced with a person that just doesn't know what they're doing.
But if you don't know what you're doing, then you need to turn that flick on.
Yep. Yep.
Whatever.
You turn that on, and I'm gonna start giving you directions, because I've been in a situation where, dude thought he was doing his thing orally, and it wasn't. It was doing nothing for me, and I kept trying to tell him.
Don't say his name.
I
Don't.
won't. I tried
I'm just-
I tried to adjust, the position a little bit so that it would be like right at where I needed him to be and all that, and he just was like, no, he just took over and was just chomping away like he was the Cookie Monster, and I was like, I can't. I
well, the point of foreplay is to get aroused,
right,
get excited. You know what I'm saying? More excited, like, and you want to make sure that you're being desired while you're doing it.
Right.
Because if you're not, then it's gonna be some little bumps and you're not gonna be able to enjoy it.
Right.
So is it really important? Is foreplay really important?
Um, I genuinely believe that foreplay can contribute to the further enjoyment of your intimacy, but there are certainly been occasions when there was no foreplay involved and we had a damn good time. Um, but I think, it does tie back to the romance and to showing you that they desire you physically. They desire your body. Like your body turns them on. They want to please you. They want to satisfy you.
Right. And foreplay, like, put it in the chat if you would prefer physical activities versus mental or verbal.
Right.
Because foreplay doesn't have to be physical all the
It
time.
does. Nope, it does
It
not.
could be like, come here, let me good.
Right.
You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? Like, just say different little, things to excite your partner a little bit.
Right. Or if
So
you
it doesn't have to be physical.
yeah.
It could be like mentally, or you just like looking, in that person's eyes and be like, I really want to right
Right.
now.
Yeah. Or you could be out to dinner with them and they could be whispering sweet nothings in your ear all throughout dinner about how they can't wait to take you home. And I'm gonna be like, all right, check please.
So yeah, like to me, the kissing part, the dirty talk, I love that. Like I really do. Um, will probably do it for me,
Yeah.
like the mental too, and just like cause I want to feel wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to feel wanted.
Yeah.
So you have to do those things sometimes. So do I think foreplay is important? Not physically all the time.
Right.
I don't think it's so much important physically all the time, but you have to be doing some type of foreplay,
Yeah.
either mentally, verbally, like I said, or physical. Some
Right.
people love physical, and
Right.
you just got to get them there,
Mm-hmm.
you
Or
know.
or a combination of emotional and physical. I mean, that is really one that'll set the waterfalls rolling. It's just, you gotta know your partner. You gotta know your partner and you gotta know what does it. And like I said, if you're an observant partner and you're paying attention to how your partner responds, see my partner, pays attention to how I respond. So if he sees he's getting that great response, then he knows, that he's on the right track. But I'm also letting him know, like, yes, 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 yes,
Let them know.
to
And see,
all of that.
me, physical would be upper part.
Yeah.
All right, Brenna, that was it for tonight.
All right, honey.
This was good. I like this
It
because
was.
you connect the dots of like a keep the spice in your relationship.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people lose, and the reason I really wanted to bring it up today is because a lot of people lose their relationships because of that
Yeah.
lack of intimacy,
Hmm.
lack of being romantic. And men nowadays even ask, do women still like men that are romantic? Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. But you need to find out what it is
Yeah.
for
Definitely.
her,
Yeah,
or women find out what it is for him, because men like that too.
they do. They do
and
both.
and it keeps you more connected. It's if you're receptive to it, then I think it's a beautiful thing. Now some people are just not,
Right.
and they could just you know walk around the house and be like, you ready, come on.
Right.
You ready? Come on. Let's go. You finna
Oh,
get
it's
it
time.
now.
Oh, it's time. Okay, all right. It's time.
Lay
It's
on that bed and let's
time.
go.
Lay on down and
You
let's.
know, straight to the point. And they like that. But then I feel like some people that do that, and these people, you'll find them, they're more reluctant to go out there and cheat and be with other people
Mm-hmm.
because then they're going to be like, well, you never gave me this,
Right.
or you never made me feel wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the part of feeling wanted.
Right. And that
Being romantic, showing affection. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things. So people blame it on those things because they don't have it at home.
right. When you're missing those things, that's something else that can lead to significant loneliness. It's like, okay, I'm in the same space, under the same roof, in the same bed as this person, but I feel alone because I'm not getting, any type of or any type of verbal intimacy,
Attention.
any type of attention. When we do it, it's like, okay, roll over, let's go. It just feels like a chore. It's not anything that I really am enjoying because it's like work. It's not like, you are really attracted to me and I turned you on today with my outfit and you couldn't wait for me to get off work, and come home so you could see me in that outfit and then help take the outfit off. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just
Maybe unsip it for me.
yes, when you just take people for granted and assume that they're just going to be there just to be there, that's what you're mistaken. And not giving anybody any reason to cheat because there's never an acceptable
There's never let's say re-say
yeah,
that because I don't want people to think, oh, she said, yeah, that's what caused no.
no, it's
I
there's
said
ne-
it makes them
there's ne-
more like reluctant to do that,
right.
but that's not an excuse.
Yeah, there's never an acceptable reason to cheat. And if
Because you
per-
should be able to communicate with your partner
that's
and
the thing,
know.
if a person is feeling a certain type of way, then they need to keep those lines of communication open. But honey, I'll let you know straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, before I cheat, it's over. I'm ending it because I'm not going to ever do that to somebody. I would never, never do that to somebody. But if you're not meeting my needs and I've communicated with you and I've talked to you and
Mhm.
we've even, tried to go to
We
counseling,
tried everything in the book.
then it's like if you're just not going to, meet my needs and be able to satisfy my needs, then I just need to put an end to this whole situation because life is too short to not be happy. Life
Exactly.
is short to not be with a person that is going to, support you,
Some
encourage,
people lose interest.
lift you.
Sometimes it don't even be you; it just be them.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people just lose interest in you, and then you never know if it's temporary or long term till you leave that person, and then you be
Right.
like, "Damn, I really miss them." But
Right.
instead of you talking things out with that person, instead of you being honest and just being straight up, you just left.
Yeah.
So now it's like you lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Happens all the time.
All right, y'all. Love y'all.
Okay.
We
See you.
see y'all next weekend.
Yep.
We'll have Brenna have for next weekend.
Yes, and I'll come up with something in the next couple of days and post it in the group chat.
I have a lot of messages, so if I have not gotten to your message yet, I will. I have people that's trying to get on the podcast, collab and stuff like that. So
Okay.
peace out, y'all.
All right. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.